I can't wait to show you my toys.
Hello, I'm Stefan from Hey You Guys, and I'm joined here today by Dan Marr, and welcome to A View's Insider's Guide to the DC Universe. This is to mark their latest endeavour to come out of that particular universe, which is Suicide Squad. But let's go back slightly so I can try and get my bearings and work out exactly where this film fits into this quite convoluted timeline. Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
I'm going to ask a question that might appear quite silly, but isn't Superman dead?
No, Superman's never dead. I mean, there was a little tease right at the end of the film as well that, you know, all was not as it seems, but it was really following a very similar path to the Death and Return of Superman storyline that was in the comics, which is where Superman and Doomsday killed each other with a final killer blow in a spectacular fashion. Then Superman kind of miraculously found his way back into the realm of the living. They've already revealed concept art for the next film in that series, and Superman is very front and center of that image, so it's pretty certain that he's not going to stay dead for long.
And in regards to things that we can take from Batman v Superman that might filter into future projects, Batman had these kind of dream sequences, and I was just wondering, what can we kind of decipher from those? There was the Amiga symbol of Darkseid.
Darkseid is like the villain. He is the Thanos of the DC universe, if you want to put it that way, really. He's the big cheese who's going to kind of linger in the background for a few movies, I reckon, and then he'll be the big bad a few movies down the line. So what Batman's potentially seeing is either a future vision of our own Earth. He's potentially seeing an alternative dimension, because DC loves a multiverse. They don't like just having one dimension, they like having loads.
Boring,
loads. Who needs one dimension? Loads of them. And that might also explain why the Superman in that vision was evil. There's a chance it could be the Superman we know under the control of Darkseid. It could also be a Superman from another dimension who's gone down a completely different path and become a sort of crazy dictator supervillain.
But that's quite a good thing to do with Superman, is it? Because if there's one thing that he does get criticism for, probably not to his face, but it's that he can be quite boring because he's almost good at everything, isn't it? So perhaps having a more of an evil spin on the character might be quite beneficial.
Seriously, what the hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Batman v Superman was very much quite a sort of quite a serious piece of cinema. I think Zack Snyder has come into sort of slight amount of criticism for perhaps not being quite playful enough, maybe not adventurous enough in his kind of depiction of that world. Suicide Squad, on the other hand, seems to be much more in line perhaps with the way Marvel are treating their movies, which is to play up to that kind of sense of irreverence, to be more kind of jokey, I guess, at parts. I mean, do you think that we could be seeing a slightly more of a playful edge to this latest endeavour to come out of this universe?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's almost ironic in a way, isn't it, that the kind of humour and the anarchy is coming out of the villains. Like, obviously with the Marvel films, we're kind of used to the heroes sharing little jokes and witty one-liners, and in DC it's all very, I'm going to punch you in the face. But the villains, on the other hand, are having a great time. So I think Suicide Squad is, as we've seen in the trailers, it's going to be a whole array of crazy villains, most of which I believe are Batman villains. Who've all got a grudge against Batman for one reason or another, probably because he's beat them all up and put them all away in prison. And seeing them, I guess, attempting to do good, because I mean, let's not forget, these are villains. The only reason they are trying to save the world in this film is because they've been coerced into it.
We are delving into a lot of characters that, while they have featured before in sort of comic books, they're relatively new. They're characters we don't know too much about. I mean, do you think this gives the film a certain degree of freedom? Because what a lot of fans haven't got is that certain expectation.
Absolutely. I think that, as you say, Joker, there's expectations. Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie's character, and kind of Joker's sidekick. Also, there's expectations, and she definitely seems to be living up to them. But beyond that, when you've got the likes of Killer Croc and Captain Boomerang, Rick Flag, Deadshot, you know, that we kind of know them, but they're not as well defined as the heroic characters. The other thing it also does is it throws into question, well, how many of them are actually going to survive? The film's called Suicide Squad. The missions they're on are supposed to be ones that are pretty much impossible to complete. That's why they're throwing the villains out.
So there goes a sequel.
There goes a sequel, potentially. Suicide Squad Babies or Junior, you know.
And, I mean, you said one that you're most sort of looking forward to seeing depicted on screen. Obviously, Will Smith as Deadshot is quite an exciting prospect, but it's got to be the Joker, hasn't it?
Yeah. We always like to see what an actor brings to the Joker, because Joker himself is an agent of chaos, and that gives actors freedom to kind of interpret that type of chaos. Jared Leto's one of these guys who kind of likes to take the character off screen as well, and there's a lot of stories about him doing some fairly disturbing...
sort of sending dead rats to co-stars.
Yeah, the kind of things they're going, oh, thanks, Jared. That's hilarious and not at all weird. But yeah, but that's it. You like to think that whoever plays the Joker weirdly then seems to sort of occupy the character. He's a very kind of infectious personality. I think we're going to see that reflected on screen in Jared's performance.
I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
She with you?
I thought she was with you.
Also coming up in the future is the Wonder Woman movie with Gal Gadot in the lead role. It's a kind of origin story, although I did read it was going to be set over 2 time periods, so World War I and then the present day.
What's interesting about Wonder Woman, and much like Captain America actually, is that she was created during World War II. We're seeing a character who's actually being depicted very close to her original roots. She's this Amazonian princess, daughter of Zeus, who discovers that there is a world beyond her matriarchal society. It's entirely women. Her island is entirely women. They have shunned the world of man. From what we can tell in the trailer, she realizes that the world at large is in danger right now, and so she feels she has to leave behind her people in order to sort of fight the Germans.
It seems to be quite steeped in Greek mythology, the whole Wonder Woman sort of tale, and obviously to be Zeus's daughter. I mean, that's friends in high places. My dad's a graphic designer, which has not helped me out anywhere near as much as I thought it might.
It's good if you need some pamphlets.
Yeah, this is true, yeah. And Wonder Woman isn't the only kind of character from Batman v Superman that is getting her own movie. We saw very brief cameos in the film from The Flash, Cyborg and Aquaman. Which character are you most kind of excited about seeing on the big screen properly?
It's got to be The Flash for me. I'm actually a big fan of the TV show. That's a show that has really fully embraced the absurdity of the DC universe in the best way. No tongue-in-cheek, just go for it. There's a psychic gorilla, great, let's go for it, you know, that kind of thing. And also they released it wasn't a trailer, it was called a sizzle reel, it was just a sample of footage from the new Justice League movie. The bit that stood out for me in that was Ezra Miller's performance as the Flash, when he sort of reveals his powers to Bruce Wayne when he throws a batarang at him.
So we've discussed the Flash, but the other 2 characters that also featured in Batman v Superman in that same sequence were Cyborg and Aquaman.
Cyborg is a fairly young guy. His name is Victor Stone. Due to very unfortunate circumstances, he finds himself melded with a whole bunch of very high-tech machinery to stay alive. He's basically able to commune with any machinery. As technology in this world has become more and more important and more, pivotal to our lives, Cyborg's kind of powers and abilities have grown as a result. So he's become an increasingly relevant character over the decades. And as for Aquaman, he's certainly not the Aquaman we know from the comics. He has been the subject of quite a lot of ridicule, and I think they've really gone out of their way to go, yeah, we're not going to have that Aquaman. We're going to have Jason Momoa's Aquaman. Jason Momoa's just like hulking, really angry Aquaman. In theory, he's an amazing character. He's the ruler of the sea. He controls everything. He can talk to all marine life and control marine life. He has a whole society underwater of people. But he also protects humanity as well.
But one character we are hoping to see in the Justice League, I think it's been rumoured perhaps in part 2, we might see the return of the Green Lantern.
In the right hands, Green Lantern could be their Guardians of the Galaxy, and it could be their Star Wars. There are so many fantastic creatures and aliens and so much use of imagination. You know, the power of imagination is fundamental to the character. So it makes a lot of sense that whoever takes on Green Lantern next really has to do an A1 job with it.
But if this Green Lantern movie does come out, the rumours that it will be released in 2020. So we've got a few more years to wait. But thank you anyway for joining us today, Dan. And if you want to see Suicide Squad, which is out a lot sooner, it's out now, then head to myview.com to buy tickets.